Well, we had very extensive discussions and deep caucus all of yesterday, some of it today, and meetings are continuing. Minister Dukran will stay on for those meetings. It gave us an opportunity with the new structuring of the Conference of the Heads to really go very in depth into issues touching and concerning the community, the CARICOM. Whereas previously we would have sat in open sessions for long periods where you have a lot of others involved. In this way, the heads were able to interact one-on-one on these issues in the deep caucus. The matter touching and concerning Trinidad and Tobago with respect to the Caribbean Court of Justice, we could not arrive at a consensus, and there were some who felt that they needed to get more information, more learning as to the legal implications were such an amendment to the treaty be made. So there was no consensus with respect to that yesterday.
So in your opinion, your legal opinion, are they standing on firm ground? Is there a reason why they should have gone ahead with your proposal for an amendment of the treaty?
Well, there was those who felt that they needed to have more information, and I can only concur with them in that regard. The decision making at the CARICOM is done by consensus, and if you do not have consensus, then you cannot move forward. I respect their decision in that regard, and it remains open.
There are some other fundamental issues that came before the delegates, and that is trade imbalances with Jamaica and Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago.
Certainly, this matter has been around for some time, and indeed when I last met the Prime Minister of Jamaica in Suriname, we had agreed then that a trade mission from Trinidad and Tobago and one from Jamaica would meet for them to try to thrash that issue out. There's only through conversations, through dialogue, that we will continue to have with both countries to see in what ways that trade imbalance can be balanced, be more balanced. Trinidad and Tobago does have a competitive advantage with respect to certain manufactured goods, and I think that is a concern in the other nations. I know my trade minister, former trade minister, had met with the trade minister of Jamaica, but more discussions would need to be carried out. Barbados is now raising similar issues, and certainly we will continue to talk with our CARICOM family. There's no point in one country rising and the other one falling. We have to lift each other up, and so we will work with them to see how best we can address the concerns they have raised.
Your responsibility in the quasi-cabinet is for security, and we understand that the Stoneman Committee has prepared a report on security. Were you privy to that?
Yes. The report is not properly before the conference heads because it was received in draft form, and the ministers with responsibility for security, that particular committee needs to meet on it and to trash it out before it comes for the consideration of heads. So we discussed it yesterday, in effect, to see that it is not properly before the heads, and therefore more time would be needed for that report to be properly handed over to the committee responsible for legal affairs and national security, and then to come to the conference heads. Very interesting. Next year will mark 40 years of the birth of the Caribbean community, and next year Trinidad and Tobago will take the chair. So it is very interesting that both coincide. It is events coming together, some may say divine intervention. So in the very place where it was born, 40 years ago, we will be holding the chair in Trinidad and Tobago. We look forward to taking up that role next year.
So you are leaving St. Lucia, anticipating the 40th anniversary celebrations with a clean bill of health for CARICOM.
There's always room for improvement. I know there are very many concerns, but the fact is that there are such good institutions. You would have heard several of the prime ministers in the opening session speak of it. Cricket is a major, I think a prime example of what the integration movement can achieve. But certainly the University of the West Indies is another institution we can be very proud of. And there's so many others that we can speak of. We have made strides, and of course there is always room for improvement, especially in an environment that is so dynamic, that keeps changing, that we will have to continue to try to improve. And I believe there have been improvements. we can only grow on the strengths that are already there. With respect to what weaknesses that we perceive and that others comment upon, we will have to work to deal with those. And I think the sessions yesterday, those in-depth sessions, really helped us to go a long way in trying to resolve some of the weaknesses as they were and building on strengths within the CARICOM.